Chamber's pressure nominal.
Okay, so we talked about this last week, and now we're going to do a deep dive with Davo. Dubai is making it rain in a sweltering desert by zapping clouds with electricity using drones.
Fascinating, isn't it?
So much to ask, but let's take it, and then we'll do a few questions.
Before we talk about what's happening in Dubai, let's talk about cloud seeding in general, because a lot of people, I don't think, understand what cloud seeding is. And this has been going on for decades, by the way. This is not something that's brand new.
At a top robotics company in Japan this week, 4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans in the lab. And they did it by shooting what he called metal bullets. The scariest part is that lab workers deactivated 2 of the robots, took apart the 3rd. But the 4th robot began restoring itself and somehow connected to an orbiting satellite to download information about how to rebuild itself even more strongly than before.
Stress, anxiety, depression, drugs and alcohol, constant fear-mongering, moral relativism as the new religion, and I could go on and on about how humanity has been influenced and forced to move away from all the things that give us strength, security, purpose, and meaning. A weak, immoral, disconnected, ignorant, and unhealthy population is an easy target for the next stage, the creation of an entire generation of androgynous beings. Masculinity is under attack psychologically, culturally, and biologically. Women are being replaced in sports, entertainment, and politics by men pretending to be women, and children are being indoctrinated at school to think that gender is a choice. The transgender movement is not a grassroots movement. It comes from the top. It has nothing to do with people's freedom of expression, sexuality, or civil rights. It's an evil psyop with a clear agenda to get us closer to transhumanism by making us question the most fundamental notion of human identity, our gender.
You heard about the case of Emily Butler? It's a very tragic case, because when we talk about racism and the black worker, we have to try to understand what's been happening with the Emily Butlers. She's the sister who worked at the Atlanta Internal Revenue Service Bureau. And as she had mentioned on many occasions prior to the charges being lodged against her, she felt that she was a particular target of the racism, the institutionalized racism, in the sense that she never got promoted whenever times for promotion came around. Whenever she made a request, her request was always denied. And when it came to just outright, blatant, overt racist harassment, she had to deal with that every single day, every day she went to work. And you see, one day, she asked to see her doctor, and they told her no. And then they started screaming at her that she had punched in her time card 2 minutes late. And then the white 4 men and 4 women really began to get on her back. And the sister became so desperate but she didn't know what to do. And she went and got a gun and she shot 2 women. But you see, let's try to understand what was happening in that situation. Because that's certainly not the answer to liberation. I mean, we got hundreds of thousands of Emily Butlers. And we have to realize that Emily Butler is not guilty. It is racism that pulled that trigger. Racism.
This is the work of the Frankfurt School. Manipulation and subversion of the mind. Like a virus, it spreads from person to person, absolving responsibility and accountability of its infected targets. Racism is just a vessel used by radical communists to usher in socialism, which ultimately leads to communism. Davis is even quoted saying, "Only under socialism could the fight against racism be successfully executed."
In New York City, there are buildings, high-end buildings that they build, right? Like where the apartments go for $5 million, $10 million, $20 million, $50 million, right? They're 80% empty. Do you know why they're 80% empty? And why there's so much real estate in this country with high-end that's totally empty? Because people from China, Russia, South America who are doing nefarious stuff, they'll buy an apartment, they'll buy a flat in London for $140 million. You go, what, $140 million? Who would ever live there? They don't live there. They don't rent it either, because then they can't call it as an asset.
Investment.
Now what you do is this. You take that $140 million flat and you borrow against it. So now you take that money and you put it in the stock market, and that's how you wash your money, baby.
Whoa.
Yes. So now in the government,
that's how you wash your money.
Yes, but it fucks everybody else up in the high.
You are in the dark arts.
That's from this book.
Jesus.
From a hacker's mind.
Wow.